Hello and welcome back. I'm back. It's so exciting. After 2 years of taking some time off from podcasting, I needed to go down my deep rabbit hole of a midlife crisis and came out strong, came out really clear and focused and on purpose. So I am back. I'm relaunching this podcast as the Conscious Kitchen Radio. And we are going to dive deep into this concept of how our health is actually related to a lot of the toxicity that's in our world. And we're going to make that link, that we're actually interconnected. Our homes, our bodies, our minds are all interconnected, and how we can support our system in navigating this very toxic world that we live in, and help you detoxify each of those areas of your life so that you can create more ease, more flow, more vitality, more vibrancy, more youthful appearance. I mean, it comes out in your skin when you're stressed or you're toxic overloaded, right? The burden that your body's experiencing. I'm so excited to bring on guest expert speakers in each of these areas. Of course, Mama and I are going to be sharing what we learned in our journeys, in our studies, because we know that so many listeners out there and people are just suffering with their health. They've got gut issues, they've got allergy, maybe have some weight gain, or they're tired. They're needing those cups of coffee throughout the day to keep them going. Another symptom is feeling irritable, anxious. There's one more symptom that's a really big one: tired, weight gain, and brain fog. That's a huge one. By the way, I'm on day 5 of a water fast right now. I'm testing out water fasting because we have always advocated for juice cleanses, because in the juices, you're juicing 2 pounds of green vegetables. So you're actually giving your body everything it needs nutrient wise to support in the healing. But I had Dr. Clapper on my first. The next episode that you guys will get to listen to is an incredible MD. He's a pioneer in the space, actually advocating for nutrition classes in med schools. And he talks all about water fasting and how they put them through a 5 to 7 day water fast. And I was like, all right, I'm up for the challenge. Let's go. So I'm on day 5 right now. I will tell you, the first 4 days were actually surprisingly easier than I thought they would be. The hardest part was being at Concha's kitchen, where I'm breathing and smelling all of my mama's like cooking, and she's making pancakes back there. I mean, I was being tortured, but made it through. The sheer determination. Nope, I'm staying committed, and my willpower got me through. And that's often what it takes. It's just a mindset change. So that's going to be a big part of this podcast and what we teach in our conscious cleanse, that we're actually launching a cohort in 2026. So if you're interested in that, stay to the end. I'll give you some more details there, but that's going to go over these 4 pillars, which is detox your home, detox your body, detox your mind of the toxic thoughts. Those are the 3 ways that toxins create dis-ease in the body. So if you're experiencing brain fog, as I just demonstrated, because that can happen on a juice cleanse. Even during a cleanse, when you're detoxing, when the toxins come out of your cells, they first go into your bloodstream, then they get excreted. And in that bloodstream phase, you can feel a little brain foggy. And that's an indicator that your body's actually toxic. Your body's overloaded with toxicity, so it's not functioning optimally. So back to the 4 pillars: when you detox the home, the body, and the mind, and then you nourish the cells with a healthy food, we actually bring you into the kitchen and teach you how to make all this healthy food. And then we have a continuation package that lasts a year, where you do the breath work and you learn how to all these techniques on calming the nervous system, because we live in a super notification heavy world now, where so much is demanding our attention, right? Like, so many things are actually designed to try and capture our attention, that we're being pulled energetically in so many different directions. And we've got to keep the air conditioning going and the lights on and all these new age demands that we didn't have prehistorically or back in the day. We lived in nature, and we've kind of paved over nature, and we've made it very convenient, and it's delightful, and it's nice to have air conditioning, especially here in Austin in the summer. But it's actually created an environment that our bodies are not adapted to per se, if that makes sense. It came with toxic chemicals to make all this happen. In other words, look around your room right now, wherever you're sitting. Every single thing you see, I would say majority of the things that you see, required some kind of extraction from the earth some kind of mineral, or some plastics, synthetic chemicals generated that then get transported to your home, first to a factory, produced, transported to your home. All of that has wow, okay, brain fog for sure. All of that has the emissions exposure. We're releasing emissions throughout that whole process. We're destroying the planet at the same time. Whatever's going into the air, we then breathe, right? Whatever runoffs are going into the ocean, they go into our rivers. They first kill off those fish and biodiversity there, and then into our oceans. And then people eat the fish, and then they end up with cancer. And we are so surprised that there's such high alarms rates of cancer right now. Makes sense. We're living in a very toxic world. And I'll get into the explanation of what was taught to me. And if it makes sense to you, you can choose to believe what we've learned. Everything we teach you, by the way, is choice. And I invite you to do more research and dig into the things that we present. And we will bring in experts that have done that research for you so that you can feel comfortable knowing that some of these small changes that we're going to recommend throughout this journey are going to create massive shifts in your body, in your health, in your vitality. I believe that what we are choosing each day is having not only an impact on ourselves, on our own vitality, but on those around us and the environment and the animals we live with. And it's incredibly important to start becoming aware of our impact on the planet. I'll give you a few facts. I studied at Harvard, Masters in Sustainability, and we learned that we have already, since the 70s, since the Industrial Revolution in the 70s, killed off 68% of the diversity on this planet. That took millions of years for these beautiful creatures to evolve into these masterpieces. And we have literally destroyed them in 50 years because of all the toxicity that we're generating. And a EPA agent, Environmental Protection Agency agent, actually came into our classroom at Harvard. He said there's been 1,000, at that point, 12 years ago, 80,000 chemicals had been approved. Now we're up to 86. And they get thousands of applications, and they basically to approve these new chemicals that companies want to use, and they put the onus on the company to prove that it's safe because they don't have the manpower to do all this testing. It takes years sometimes to test whether or not these things are going to cause health effects. And so if the onus is on a company to prove that it's safe, they're going to select scientists and studies that show, yeah, it's fine. It's good. We're good. We're not good. If you go on the EWG's website, which is the Environmental Working Group. So EW, do this right now. Please, please, please do yourself, your family, and all your friends a favor. Go right now on ewg.org and go on their top right corner of their website is a tap water database. Click that link, enter your zip code, and then pick your municipality. You click again, and that's going to give you the reservoir, your reservoir's water contaminants. You scroll down on the next page and you will see all of the contaminants that are coming through your tap water. Mind blowing. Austin has 14 contaminants, many of which are listed known cancer causing. They're often 200 plus times the recommended dose for health. One of them was like 471 times, and I was like, that's alarming. And then recently I've been seeing one that's 2,333 times the recommended dose. 333 times. It's insane. I was like, what is that? So I clicked on that and found out that it's what they use to clean the water at the water company. They're cleaning, quote unquote, water with toxic chemicals. What are they designed for? They're designed to kill bacteria, right? Great. That sounds kind of good. Except we rely on bacteria to break down our food and get the nutrients out of our food. So if we're drinking water that is designed to break down bacteria and we're eating processed food that's designed to sit on a shelf for 2+ years, that's also got all these preservatives in it designed to destroy the cells. How this works, I actually went on a deep dive on this because I was so fascinated. I was like, all right, tell me what this exactly, the science behind all this. And what it does is they're designed to go after the cell wall of the bacteria and make it so that the nutrients can't get in. And so the bacteria is literally starved to death. Okay, again, we rely on bacteria to break down our foods. We have gut issues. We've got skin issues, eczema and inflammation. And our gut is the source of our serotonin production. That's our happy drugs, right? So many people are on antidepressants. Your immune system, 70% of your immune system is in your gut. People are experiencing all these ailments, sicknesses, and colds. And it's so normal. If your gut microbiome has been destroyed, everything you eat is going to be like an attack on the body. It's like, what is this foreign object? It's getting through maybe some leaky walls, leaky gut. And so larger particles are getting through these gaps in your intestines, getting into the bloodstream. And then your immune system actually tags those larger particles as the enemy. And all of a sudden you're allergic to a banana. Not normal, but we're eating a not normal diet. Nature provides food in their whole form straight out of the ground. That's a natural way to eat. Your whole fresh fruits and vegetables, leafy greens, nuts and seeds, legumes, things like that. These are natural plants that are full of protein. Always the first question every vegan gets is, where do you get your protein? And it's very possible to be an unhealthy vegan, because if you're eating the pastas and the fake meats and all the processed foods, then of course you're not going to get the nutrients. The only way to really get the full vitality and nutrition from plants is to eat a whole plant-based diet. But I want to start making the link for you between your home environment, what the toxins that are coming into your home, be it the cleaning products. I have a story there, actually. I'm going to divert. I walked into my client's home. She was on day 18 of a juice cleanse. She was committed, but she kept coming in with this nasal drip. Like, the nasal drip wouldn't go away. Everything else felt phenomenal, but the nasal drip would not go away. And she's like, what is happening? I was like, I don't know. Let me come over to your house. So I went to her house. As soon as I walked in the door, I got blasted by this smell of like detergent. And I was like, what is that? I went right to her laundry room. And sure enough, she had these dryer sheets that I could smell from literally 12 feet away. And I was like, can you read some of these ingredients to me? Not one. She couldn't pronounce one word because they were all 15 characters long, all synthetic chemicals. They were incredibly toxic. This is what she's washing her clothes with, her bed sheets with. She's waking up with a nasal drip because she's sensitive. And so she's breathing in these toxic chemicals, and the body very intelligently is trying to get them back out with extra mucus, pouring them out. They're like, get that out. We don't want that. So the body is talking to you. Always, always, always. And it's really important to listen. Oprah says this brilliantly. She said, the universe will send you pebbles. The pebbles are the weight gain, the tiredness, the brain fog, the like allergies, the list of things that you're experiencing right now. Maybe. If you don't listen to the pebbles, the universe will send you the brick. The brick is the diagnosis, the cancer, the diabetes, right? The heart disease, high cholesterol. If you don't listen to the brick, the universe sends a bus, and that's the heart attack. And hopefully you survive the bus and that wakes you up. But better yet would be to wake up before you have any symptoms, but at the very least when you have the pebbles, because the pebbles are indicators. Your body is telling you you're off track. You should have energy all day long. You should not be carrying around an extra 40 pounds. You should not be searching for words all day and trying to get your brain to function optimally. That is not, your body is a healing machine. You know this. When you cut yourself, it heals. You can maybe support it with a little, like maybe Neosporin or a Band-Aid. And that's what we do. We support the body in healing, but the body knows how to heal. You're literally a healing machine, and you were designed to keep you alive. But we are bombarding it with so many chemicals that it can't go after the cancerous cells because it's too busy going after the toxicity cells, the toxins, excuse me. And so it first pulls those toxins out, and then it can go after the cancerous cells. I divert. So what are the things in your home that you need to look out for? The cleaning products. The beauty products, you guys, these parabens in your lotions, in your skin products, these are linked to hormone disruptions. They cause infertility concerns. They are very toxic to the body. If you're having any thyroid issues, you've got to switch up your beauty products, and you really need to pay attention to fragrances. Fragrance is a paraben. And often, where do you spray your fragrances? Right on your neck. And what's behind this very thin skin? Your thyroid. And your thyroid is your hormone center, produces hormones for your body. And so you're spraying your body with toxic chemicals that literally would disrupt hormone production. And what is the doctor's newest remedy for thyroid? Not new, remedy for thyroid issues? Remove the thyroid. That's like taking out the canary in the coal mine. You don't just execute the canary, you listen. You're like, okay, I'm off track, or my body is toxic. It's talking to me. It's time to detox. Very important. Very important. So we also look at the EMF exposure. We now live in a microwave, essentially. I walked into one of my clients' houses and I bring this little EMF reader. And I kid you not, as soon as I walked in the door, this thing started red alerts. Ding, 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 ding. And I was like, whoa, what is happening? And I walked around. They had a Wi-Fi router with like, the booster right in the living room, 5 feet away from their couch. They had another one in the office within 2 feet of where she stood all day working. 2 feet. They had a whole bunch of things plugged in underneath their bed. I literally brought the scanner right above their pillow and it was screaming high alert. I mean, this literally they were living in a microwave. And I was like, you guys, do you shut this off at night at least? They're like, no. I was like, okay. And are you sleeping well? They're like, no. They wake up tired. Okay, you guys, simple, like super simple things to do. Get a timer on your power cords. They have ones that with timers shuts off at 8 o'clock. Be off your phone by 8 p.m. Start reading, start connecting with your family, start doing more natural things with low lighting, right? Stop looking at these blue screens. We know these things, but we've got to actually incorporate them. And that's part of the cleanse and the ongoing thing is we support our clients with the ongoing support because a big part of this is the behavior change. It's the desire to change and the overriding of automated processes and recreating new programs, new routes in your brain that are like, okay, this is happening. Now I'm going to choose this instead of that, right? And you got to create a new pathway to make that automatic. And you need support through the way because it's really overcoming these things can be challenging. Things are super easy and some things are really hard, all right? It just takes a little work and then it becomes automated. We support people through juice cleanses. We may incorporate a water fast, but I still haven't got my mother on board with this. But I'm testing it out right now. Everything I suggest, I've tested, and other people have, of course, as well. These are everything's scientifically backed, but the accumulation of toxins in your body needs support in removing. And I'm going to give you a real quick explanation of what cancer actually is. Cancer is a symptom of toxicity in the body. And here's how it was explained to me, and choose if it makes sense to you. So we have somewhere between 60 and 100 trillion cells in our body, right? Someone's counted. And the end of a DNA strand has this little part that says stop replicating. And sometimes that gets broken off, and then those cells keep replicating. And then you create a tumorous cell. And that can happen from free radicals, that can happen from a long list of things. But the DNA gets damaged. When you have 100 trillion cells, some of the DNA gets damaged. Totally normal. The body is designed to go after those cells. Totally a normal process. We are equipped to remove cancer cells in our body. However, when the body's also bombarded by toxicity from the air, the water, the food, we're bringing in so many toxins, the body first focuses on getting the toxicity out, and the tumor cells are allowed to grow. And what we have seen time and time again for decades, and we're not the only ones, but my mom and I have been doing this, Hippocrates Health Institute has been doing this, Optima Health Institute has been doing this. There are centers around the world that have been supporting the body in detoxifying, and then voila, the cancer goes away. It naturally goes away. So this is not medical advice. This is from our personal experience, and we are not healers. We are not MDs, right? We are here as guides to support you in your body's innate ability to heal. We're supporting your body's ability to heal because we can't heal you. If any doctor, anyone says that they can heal you, please run. You are your healer. You are your biggest source of wisdom. One of the biggest blessings of a cleanse, to me, I call it the juice of the juice cleanse, is actually when you clean house, you become a much more clear tuning fork to receive guidance and to hear your own wisdom. I can ask for support from my angels. I have two that live up in the corner somewhere, and I like literally tune into them. And I'm like, all right, angels, I've heard that angels cannot intervene until they're assigned a task. So I give them an assignment. I'm like, okay, I need a clear signal that I'm supposed to move homes. And the very next thing I heard instantly was pick a card. And I've got these tarot cards I love. I started flipping through the deck. This card flipped out of the deck, landed on my lap face up, and it said, step out of your comfort zone and try something new. I was like, got it, Spirit. That's a clear sign. All right, Spirit, if you have all the answers, you seem to have a divine plan. Who do I call? And I heard, call Elizabeth. I was like, all right, called Elizabeth. She goes, well, my room's rented, but I just heard from Kiki and her room's available. I was like, oh, interesting. Call Kiki. We met. Turns out her roommate's moving out the day I need to move in. What? Unbelievable. Unbelievable how spirit can guide you when you learn to tune in and listen and trust what flows through. And also, my body has become this incredible vessel of wisdom because I can put anything in my hands and ask, is this good for me? And I'll get a yep, no, very clear, very quickly. And at first, it comes in very subtly because you haven't been trained to teach it, to trust it yet. So at first, you might hear, yeah, and then you'll override it. But no, 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 no. Your fear based brain will kind of override. If you learn to trust it will develop into a very strong, like, yes or no, don't do that. No, 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 no. Right? It is incredibly powerful. And this happens even stronger for you when you clean the body. Imagine your body is like, I compare it to like the rabbit ears that you used to have on the TV boxes, right? Back in the day, if you're old enough. You have to like kind of wiggle those around to get reception on your TV. I'm aging myself. And so if your body has been consuming saturated fat from animal products and that are laden with all this feed that's been those animals have been fed glyphosate rich corn and wheat and soy, and they're not on a natural diet, so they're also infected and inflamed, and so they have they're on antibiotics and growth hormones, and you're breathing in toxic air, you're drinking tap water, you got tap water from your coffee, or you're drinking these from these aluminum cups that are lined in BPA with an acidic drink in it that's leaching all that chemical into those drinks, and they're called healthy. There are so many ways the chemicals get into our bodies by this natural day-to-day things that we think are so like normal and totally fine. They're not. They're really not. And so if all of these things are getting so imagine you've got these rabbit ears and you've got this vat of chemicals with saturated fat, and you swirl those rabbit ears around, which is what you're doing basically when you're sludging, filling your body with this sludge, and you put it on your head and you try and get reception. You're not going to get the rabbit ears are caked. And you do that day after day after day. Every day you cake on another layer, you let it dry. The next day you eat the same food, you drink the same water, drink the same coffee, or like water or soda or whatever you're drinking. And then you put it back on your head and you're trying to get reception. You can't. You're not going to hear the signals really well. And as soon as you clear all that stuff off, I swear to you, you will be so in tune with how you need to be, who you need to be, how you need to show up. What's your service? What's your purpose in life? Or your bodies will be at ease. This kind of anxiety or anxiousness, the depression, all of that fades away. You get to be more patient with your kids, more loving with your spouse because you love yourself more because you're in this sexy body because you lost all the excess fat and weight. The journey of a cleanse and the outcome and the results of our cleanse have a ripple effect to everyone, and even as far as the planet, based on like what you end up doing. And even if it's just to support your children and becoming magnificent humans, like that can have a ripple effect to the rest of the world because who knows what they'll create. So incredibly important to start taking care of our bodies. This is your vessel, your literally your temple that you're walking through this planet with. It's so essential to nourish it and listen to it. If you're off track, please start listening to this beautiful body. Yeah. And give it gratitude every day. Every day. Thank you, feet, for taking me around this world. Thank you, hands, for being able to gift so many beautiful things. Thank you to my big, beautiful heart that I get to shower so many beautiful people around in my world with love. One of my favorite things to do is to send little sweet voice memos. It can be 10, 20 seconds. On my walks to the coffee shop, I can bang out 6 to 10 of these, right? And I'll just I have a list of all my favorites, as many people as I can fit in there. But I have hundreds of friends. I'm so blessed. So I keep that list rotating as like a new person comes in. I'm like, ooh, this person lit me up. I want to stay in contact with them because it's the contact that builds the relationship, right? So that's why when you live in smaller places like Aspen, when I lived in Aspen, like I saw them all the time. And every time I saw them, they got a big hug and they get to know me more. And like we became really bonded. So sending out these little voice memos, I'm like, hey, I just thought of you and you light my world. I can visualize your smile, and I'm so grateful for how you show up. Thank you for being such a loyal friend. You really mean the world to me. What that took? 10 seconds? I just lit that person up, and my whole body is lit up. I don't even need them to reply. By the time I get to the coffee shop, I'm walking in like this. I couldn't radiate more happiness or joy and love and laughter in my life. And then it emanates. Then the barista looks back at me and smiles back, right? And then everywhere I look, people are smiling at me because I'm radiating love. All because I'm giving love. And because I'm so centered in who I am now, because I've done this work of cleaning out the environment, my body, and then third pillar is the mind. The stories we tell ourselves are so untrue, and they lead to such dis-ease in the body. And we have to start making that link. Like lungs, asthma is a condition of grief. Like if you're grieving something and you haven't actually sat with the grief, you can develop asthma. I did as a kid. My mom left my father, or the second dad, and I was very in love with him. I loved him dearly. He was my rock. And she left him, just left. And I cried for 2 years and developed asthma because she didn't know how to support me through that grief. Wild, wild to think. But that's the body talking to us. Right? Yeah, it seems it's crazy. So I want to go down the stories rabbit hole for a minute because this is a big part of the Juice Cleanse and this podcast. And my mission is to support people in really understanding that so many of the stories that they tell themselves are not true. And it was explained to me this way. If you stop at a red light, the reality is that there's a red light. That's it. That's the truth. It's a fact. The story I could create when I come to a stop at that red light is, oh my God, now I'm going to be late. They're going to think I'm unreliable. I might lose my job or lose this sale or just whatever. I can go down this long rabbit hole of yet again, I'm failing, right? Because I can't get anything right. Or the person next to me could pull up and go, oh, thank goodness, an opportunity to breathe. I can look around. I can enjoy these trees. What else can I find that I love? Oh, look, there's a squirrel. Squirrel, right? They could have a completely different experience of the red light. And both are going to create a very different environment within the body. One is ease, one is dis-ease. So the opportunity here is to start paying attention to the stories. And I'm going to bring in all sorts of support here because the stories are linked to childhood trauma, to ancestral trauma, to past life traumas. I mean, it can go back and it can be ended. It can be released. You can do the work. The breath work is my favorite modality. I've done tons of plant medicine work that has been incredibly supportive. And now I advocate breath work because there's no substances involved. Your brain actually produces the substance that you need to go into your subconscious and go back to those childhood moments that you developed that story that was completely untrue. A profound experience I had with breathwork is I was teleported back to when I was 14 years old. I was sitting in my bedroom and my mom walks in with my report card. And all she did, she said, why aren't you getting straight A's? And I was a B plus student. I've always been like efficiency. If I can get 85% of the information with very little work done, good enough. Great, let's go. I'm on to the next thing, right? Like I'm an efficiency person. I always have been. And now actually I'm striving much more to excellence. It's become a priority to me. Like this concept of going pro, thanks to Chris Williamson, brought it into my mind. I'm like, what does going pro look like? And I'm reading Turning Pro and I'm doing all the things to like step up my game and elevate into the highest version of myself. But back then I was like, good enough. B plus. If I really love the class, I'd get an A. But in that moment, she said, why aren't you getting all A's? And it shut me down. It was like this final straw of a series of like criticisms that I interpreted it as I can't get anything right for my mother. And it was this like defeating, truly defeating moment of like, wow, no matter what I do, it's not good enough. And I implanted that story in my subconscious. I literally implanted that. And then from here on out, like I shied away from things that I wouldn't know that I could guaranteed succeed at. Right. I'm like, I'm not gonna do it because I know I'm gonna potentially fail. Yeah, huge. And then going into business, for those of you I'm sure know, I've opened the Conscious Kitchen Radio with my mama. Goodness. I've opened the Conscious Kitchen. That's it. Just the Conscious Kitchen with my mama. And it's been an incredible journey, but it's really brought forward this story that I keep running, right? Like, no matter what I do, it's not good enough for mommy because she has a need to control her environment so that she feels safe. And I always just saw her as super controlling. No, that's her coping mechanism. That's her story in her head that if we do everything her way, the way she knows will work, right? She's had the experience of being successful, so that's what she wants to teach me, then she'll create safety. And her body gets to be in ease because she knows the outcome. So imagine if both of us are playing these tapes. She needs to make sure everything's gonna be safe, so we have to do everything her way. I try and do things my way, and then I get knocked down, told don't do it that way, do it her way. I'm running the tape. No matter what I do, it's not good enough for mommy. Disaster. And so we've learned, thanks to my 2.5 decades of personal development work and deep into emotional intelligence training, because I really wanted to get into my subconscious. All the plant medicine I did was to get into my subconscious to see what was in the driver's seat of my life. And it was the old tapes, the old programming of scarcity, of lack, of not good enough. that was really driving my world, my life. And so I did all of the work I possibly could. I took leadership. ALA was incredible. Ascension Leadership Academy stepped me into my power. I got to see how I was playing small. I was not raising my hand to play safe. But by doing so, I knew I was holding myself back from really speaking my truth and making the impact I've always wanted to make. I'm here for a reason. And I've been given all these amazing gifts for a reason. And it's time to get out of this like little, they're going to reject me box if I speak up. And some people won't like what I have to say, and just speak it anyway, because the people it will land will really land. And maybe the people that don't want to hear it will plant the little seed. At least they'll get in there potentially and they'll learn. And they'll maybe blossom later. 10 years, it could be 10 years, whatever it is. My job is not to worry about how people will receive. My job is to do my job, is to speak my truth and to speak the wisdom that wants to flow through me, and to speak and to bring us, humanity, closer to nature again. That is really my dying wish, is to reconnect humanity with nature. And that's like a huge ask, but it starts with each person. It starts with you and I. You will never see me carrying a water bottle, a plastic water bottle. I will never buy a plastic water bottle. Never. I will wait. First of all, I always bring my glass bottle with me everywhere I go. I don't leave the house without this. And, or if I don't have it, I find a reusable cup, or I'll wait till I get home and I drink water. I will not buy plastic. Number one, it's 4 gulps and then it sits on the planet for 75 years before it decomposes. And it doesn't even decompose all the way, right? Number two, it's filled, first of all, with tap water, which we have already learned about. And it's sitting in a plastic bottle. It leaches. For sure, part of its journey was in heat, so that leaching happens faster. So we're drinking these toxic chemicals, we're polluting the planet with them. Is our planet suffering? Of course our bodies are suffering. One of the things I really want to focus on real quick before we come to the end is that when you go through this journey, especially the cleanse, by the way, the cleanse is the most powerful thing. You know, when your dog or any dog is sick, they stop eating, right? Fasting is been part of animal ways of healing since they're like, for whatever, since they're created. It's the mechanism to heal the body. You stop intaking, you deal with what's already inside. It's common sense. One of the incredible subsequent effects of fasting is that when you take away the coping mechanism of food, right? Because many of us don't eat when we're hungry. We don't wait till our stomach is like, no, we're bored or we're triggered. Someone upset you. My mom upset me at work, or your boss did, or your kids did, or your spouse, or right? You're not getting your needs met somehow, or someone just hit that story right on the button. So when we take away that coping mechanism, we turn to food in that moment. When we take away the coping mechanism during the cleanse, come on, brain, you got this. You have to sit with those emotions. You have to sit with what comes up. And that is the work. That is the juice of the juice cleanse, is when you get to actually say, okay, what is actually coming up? What am I really upset about here? Why am I angry? Why am I sad? What really hurt me about this? Was it what they said? Or could I have had a different story about it? Could I have chosen a different story? I'm not alone. I actually have this time to self-reflect. Or you can feel lonely, right? You always have 2 choices, probably more than that. But when we take away that coping mechanism, you're going to learn the alternative options, like going for a walk in nature, getting your nervous system back to balance with some deep breaths, connecting with a friend. There are so many different ways to support the body in calming the nervous system, and then choosing a different story. But first we have to become really aware of them, because if we're just numbing out as soon as that story hits, we're not actually processing the story. We think we are, but we're not. We're just looping in it. We're not actually getting it out of our bodies somatically. So again, advocate this breath work, gets it out, the energy, the stored emotion out of your body. Super powerful modalities. So we're going to teach you all these modalities that will support your body in releasing this childhood trauma, ancestral trauma, past life trauma, whatever the triggers are sourced in. They get locked in your body and you got to release them, or else they're going to keep showing up. The same type of person is going to keep showing up to antagonize you until you address these stories, right? Have you experienced this? Are you on board with me? First, we start with the home, the body, the mind, and then we're going to go into the food part. What are we actually designed to eat? And we're going to teach you a lot of this on the podcast. We go into much deeper. Obviously, we actually implement these things in the cleanse. So you're going to hear about them on the podcast, but we're going to do the work together in the cleanse. So if you're interested in that, please check the link below. You will find a link to book a call with me, and we'll discuss where you're at right now and if this really will support you, if that's what you need in this moment. And you'll get the guidance you need because you can get a recipe for a juice cleanse online, my friends. That's the easy part. It's sticking with it. It's the behavior change. It's actually adopting a new lifestyle that promotes health, that creates a new reality, because you can keep doing the same things you've done. You're going to keep getting the same results. I mean, that's obvious. You have to start making, if you want something different for yourself, if you want to live in a state of peace and groundedness and centeredness in your wisdom, loving, appreciative, and grateful for all that you have, and in that energetic state, guess what? You know this already from all the trainings, law of attraction. You're going to bring in so much more love and so much more gratitude, things to be grateful for. And oh my goodness, the universe will supply you with a reflection of who you are, of what you are emanating, right? And then you'll be on purpose too. Your purpose becomes clear. Your message becomes clear. It's an incredibly powerful thing to do, to first tune in, clean out the debris, clean out the 3 areas of toxicity, home, body, and mind, and then realign yourself, nourish those cells with healthy foods. We'll teach you what those are. And your whole life will shift. This is the work it takes. So if you feel stuck, if you know that you are gifted and you have so many natural innate gifts that are not being fully expressed right now, please, please, please see this as your opportunity to take the next step. We are releasing the Conscious Cleanse cohort. We're opening those doors to sign up now so that you can enjoy the holidays knowing that your resolutions are actually going to happen this year. It will be a 1-month journey in the beginning, and then we're going to have a continuation package for the full year. So you get the support and everything you need to completely transform your life into this elevated pro mastery level. So excited. And I can't wait for you guys to listen to all the guests, the brilliant guests that I'm bringing on this podcast. Oh my goodness. I'm going to have professors from UT come in and give talks. I'm going to hopefully get someone from Harvard in, some of my favorite professors from there to speak about the environment. I want a whole bunch of psychologists and behavior change experts to come in here and support us in navigating these stories and how do we process them and sit with the emotions. We'll have trauma-informed coaches. Next up is Dr. Michael Clapper. He's a legend, literally a pioneer in this world. I'm so proud of what his life's work has become, literally teaching med students how to care about nutrition, and they are signing up by the thousands. They want to know. And his famous line is, it's the food that causes dis-ease in your body. He's so right. What goes in your mouth is going to have the biggest impact on your body. Of course, it's going in, right? Yeah. So stay tuned. So much more to come. Please, please, please like the show, follow us, share it with your friends. It will mean the world to me to get this message out to more people so we can support all of humanity in treating nature with more respect, more kindness, more love, more grace. Every choice we make throughout the day can have a ripple effect, and it can either be destructive or it can be regenerative. And I'll leave you with this final example. I witness often when I go to the gym, I see girls taking 2, 3, 4 towels to dry off their clean bodies once. And then those towels go into a washing machine. 4 towels is half a load of laundry, right? That's going to require all this bleach and toxic detergents that then gets filtered into the rivers and then out into the oceans. And then we eat this fish that's loaded with toxicity and we're surprised by the cancer rates. We have to start realizing that there is no way. What we throw out in the trash is not just going away. We live on a finite planet with a finite air resource, finite water resource. What gets polluted into the air in China, we breathe. What we put into the oceans, they get. Like, we're all living one human race on one finite planet. We have to start realizing that there is no way, and every step of our day can contribute to this new world that we want to create, one that respects nature and that treats nature with the respect and thinks about the long-term effects of each one of our behaviors. That is my dream that we start implementing. So I'll leave you on that note. You have more power than you realize. You're not just one human being. You can make a ripple effect, but it does start with you making the effect on your own body and your own wisdom and how you're showing up. So I honor you for being here. Thank you, thank you, thank you for listening to me for so long. And I can't wait for the next episode. Dr. Michael Clapper is up next. Big hugs to you.